Desegregation of Schools by Michaela Black. The United States of America was founded on freedom, and that is something that as a country we still struggle with. There have been many wins and losses throughout history which represent the standards of freedom in which this country holds. One of the biggest conflicts throughout our history has been freedom of race, and unfortunately it is still something that we are fighting for to this day. One of the biggest victories for racial freedom was the desegregation of schools, which was a result of the Brown v. Board of Education case in 1954. Brown v. Board of Education is a historical court case that desegregated schools. A decision was made on May 17, 1954, that racial segregation in public schools violates the Equal Protection Clause in the 14th Amendment. 1 year later, in 1955, a second court case, which was a continuation of Brown v. Board of Education, called Brown II, resulted in the ruling that integration of public schools was to proceed with all deliberate speed. Gary Orfield explained why there was such a need to desegregate schools in the following quotation. The African American struggle for desegregation did not arise because anyone believed that there was something magical about sitting next to whites in a classroom. It was, however, based on a belief that the dominant group would keep control of the most successful schools and that the only way to get a full range of opportunities for a minority child was to get access to those schools. According to Teaching Tolerance, during the year 1956, there were more than 200 court hearings about school desegregation, and in the years following the ruling in Brown v. Board of Education, the resistance for change was at an all-time high. In 1957, Arkansas Governor Orville Fobbs ordered that his state's National Guard unit prevent 9 African American students from entering Little Rock Central High School. After a month of this ongoing issue, President Eisenhower had to send U.S. troops to protect the students entering the school. There were situations of resistance just like this in many other states, including Virginia, Tennessee, and Alabama. In 1964, race, religion, sex, or origin, and within the first 5 years of this ruling, there were 32% of African American students enrolled in majority white schools throughout the South, which was the most integrated region in the country, and by 1976, that number rose to 45%. In 1971, 5 years after the Civil Rights Act, Swan called for district-wide desegregation and allowed for the use of busing to achieve this in the case of Swan v. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education. We continue to see the benefits of desegregating schools as the years pass. In the 2000 current population survey data from the Census Bureau showed an all-time high of 79% of African Americans 25 years or older completing high school and 17% graduating college. William A. Taylor states that striking evidence of progress in the performance of Black children over the years is found in the scores of 13 and 17-year-olds on reading tests conducted by the widely respected National Assessment of Education Progress in the Test of Our Progress. Still, with these improving numbers and rising support for integration, we have a long way to go. For every great statistic we see another bad one. According to the Leadership Conference, we unfortunately still see the minority students being wrongly assigned to special education programs in schools, while white students are disproportionately assigned to gifted or talented programs. While the desegregation of schools is a huge part of our history, there is more to it than just a simple court hearing that changed everything. Our country went through a very tough battle to readjust their lives, and still many people never understood the decision of integration. Although in our generation, going to school with African Americans doesn't seem odd, there are still ways in which our country can improve the way we see and treat others of different race.